Scores for Scotland. Romajang stepping away. Stunning work from Fixture. What an individual score this is.
Talent aplenty has graced these great leagues, but now future stars are set to shine. Last season was the most thrilling to date, but now it's time for a new crop of talent to grace the field, and in this league, anything could happen. It's time to take your seat. The best leagues in the land are back.
Byfield with a BUCS Super Rugby try for the ages.
And then was a white line seeking missile.
Look score! Tries towards the line. Sensational score from Romajang.
Winding to gear, try to the line. And Cardiff are streaking across.
Welcome back, everybody. BUCS Super Rugby is back underway.
Good evening and welcome to Gloucester. We have got a BUCS Super Rugby match on the way for you. Now, of course, we have just seen the women play off together as part of the doubleheader, and now we move on to Hartpury versus Cardiff Met. Now, let's go and get to know the captains who are going to be leading these squads out a little bit more, shall we?
Fixture I'm most looking forward to. Cardiff Met at Kingsholm is always a big game, big clash.
Best dance moves in the squad is Kean Evans.
Jeg, Josiah, he's a bit of a hot stepper, not just on the field but in the club as well, so 100% Jeg.
Isaac Marsh.
Ollie Holiday, although he's got a horrific hairline, he is always there trying to style himself. Oh, and his teeth as well, always doing his teeth. Yeah, he had them done recently, and he's got to make sure they're spotless for game days.
No.
We do a thing every Monday where we go around each other's houses and try out our favourite biscuits. We had a few good biscuits come through the last couple of weeks, but chocolate hobnobs I've got to go with. Jake Bailey done it, put it forward, and I approved. Really good, especially the dunkability on them, real good.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about the captains. Again, I certainly enjoy those clips. I don't know about you guys. Now, this evening's doubleheader fixture, how do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, it's always exciting, isn't it? Hartpury University against Cardiff Met, and especially then coming to Kingsholm. Look, it's two institutions which have been going hammer and tong at each other a long time, so I'm going to go double bubble Hartpury University on the head there.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to say anything else there. Now, these doubleheaders, do you think they kind of help reinforce the one club mentality that a lot of teams are kind of looking to go after?
Yeah, it does, definitely, you know, and I know there's a lot of work going on in the background to making sure that the teams from both institutes are close, have fixtures very close, so all the rugby club as such can come and support. But also it's bigger than that for us as well. It's making sure that we're getting the community of Gloucester to come and watch the future of Gloucester RFC men's, but also Gloucester Hartpury women. Really pleasing for me to see tonight that 14 of the 23 out there today have all come from Hartpury College women's rugby section, so it's really pleasing, and there'll be plenty more playing for Cardiff Met as well.
Some real strong numbers there. Now, James, I'll come to you just now. In terms of injuries, we've got obviously a few concussions going on for Cardiff Met. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Cardiff Met picking up a few injuries last week, predominantly as a result of concussions in the game. And look, at this level, we're all about protecting the players. It's all about player welfare as well. And thank goodness that Cardiff Met also share that mentality. They're protecting these players, they're resting them, making sure they go through the correct return to play protocols. You know, we're wishing a speedy recovery to the likes of Evan Sheldon, Josh Carrington, and Steph Crimp, who have all obviously been forced out of the BSR squad due to these concussion injuries. But I'm sure they'll return in safe time and in a safe protocol manner as well. But Cardiff Met, as the same with Hartpury, as I'm sure it would be, have got so much quality and depth in their squad that players can just step into those positions, fill in those shoes straight away almost, and know exactly how to play that game plan.
And in terms of the players, a lot of them were obviously rested last week due to the WRU Cup. Can you tell us a little bit about how they're going to manage that going forward?
Yeah, so look, Cardiff Met's ambition at the moment this season is to get promoted from that WRU Championship. They want to go up into that new look Prem from next season onwards, and that means starting to prioritise that league a little bit more than they may have done in the past. And so that opens up the prospect actually to a larger BUCS Super Rugby squad, which is very exciting. Potential for a lot more players to be introduced to this league, which is fabulous for all of us to watch. But also at the same time, bit of a selection headache for the likes of Dr. Ian Gardner and Dr. Danny Milton, because they'll be looking at their squad thinking, who's going to play what game, which one do we prioritise on which week? And actually for the players, it's a lot of fun as well, because every single week they're all going to want to be in this BSR game, but at the weekends as well, the Champ is a fantastic place to play.
And in terms of just, from kind of a player welfare perspective and physio and resting and things like that, obviously a lot of that lays on the players' shoulders. Do you think that's something that kind of prepares them for their professional career moving forward and obviously moving up the ranks?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the same across every university. You'll see it in the Hartpury squad as well, as I'm sure will testify to. These players, this is the closest that they'll get before that professional level, where it basically simulates the whole environment. So when they do make that step up, it's almost like second nature to them. It's that second home. It's not really a huge leap forward, because they just continue with the great attitudes that they build from BSR rugby and WNL rugby as well. So I think this league and this championship is really putting people in a good stead, and we've seen it work time and time again. The likes of Steve Varney and Seb Negri from Hartpury, but then also the likes of Alex Dombrandt and Aaron Wainwright going on to the international stage and just seamlessly moving into it as well. So what more can you say about it on that front?
Brilliant. Well, I think that's enough from us, and it's time to hear a little bit more from the coaches behind the teams. Hi, thank you for talking to us this evening. What are you expecting from this evening's match?
Hopefully no rain. Last year it was horrendous and the clouds are clearing. There's a few black clouds, but two great games of rugby. It's a great place to play. Four great teams, two great universities, four great teams, and just a great event, hopefully.
We'll let you off for being biased saying two great teams there. I'm not sure which ones you meant, but I think the viewers at home might catch on. And in terms of the double-header this evening, what does that kind of mean for the visibility of the women's match and the men's match as well for fans at home?
But at Hartpury we have two very strong programmes, with our women's programme and our men's programme, and it puts them side by side here. Cardiff Met are very similar. They have a very strong women's programme and men's programme, and it shows the pathway of, especially at Hartpury, we've got our RFC side that we have in the men's programme. We've got our Gloucester Hartpury side that the BUCS women feed into as well. So it's just an opportunity to showcase those at a great venue.
And talking about BUCS Super Rugby in general, how important is this as kind of a breeding ground for the pathway for players who want to kind of get into that higher professional era?
It's a great place. I'm a massive advocate of this. I went to university, I went to St Mary's, I played in a different version of BUCS Super Rugby, an older version, but and then made my way into professional sport. And for guys and girls that are thinking about professional sport and looking to get into it, and studies as well, it's a perfect environment to do that. You play top level sport in amazing places with pretty much full-time rugby programs, with coaches, and you get to study as well at the same time. It's a perfect avenue for that, and nights like this being live streamed make it even better.
And talking specifically about the match, any players we should be looking out for specifically as we watch the live stream tonight?
We got a young lad, Corbin Smith, our fullback. He got man of the match in our last live stream game up at Cardiff, USA under-20. He's got some feet, and on a nice firm surface, he can move a few things. Tom Warts, number 8, Gloucester Academy, Hartpury A student as well, so came for our under-18 programme, now a BUCS University student, Hartpury student. He's at number 8, and yeah, he does bits as well.
Great stuff. Well, you heard it here first. Thanks for joining us, and go well.
Thank you.
an away match as a double header. What are you expecting this evening?
Well, interestingly, we played last week, it was a double header, and thankfully the conditions are much better this evening, although it is obviously expected to get much worse later on in the evening. But you know, it's always a big event when you play these games on such a prestigious ground as Kingsholm, and I think everybody's just really excited and looking forward to it.
Now, this season's a bit different because the Saturday National League programme, you have to come top 5, don't you? So how are you kind of managing players with that and also these kind of matches?
Yeah, it's always a challenge because like this week in particular, because our game is actually on a Friday. So it's like some of the boys in some weeks have been doubling up, but that'll be a bit of a challenge this week, given that the fact is obviously tonight it's only a one-day recovery then for it. So it is posing a challenge, but it's something we have to sort of adapt to and do our best to sort of overcome. And yeah, look, we've been disappointed in the last 2 weeks in our BUCS Super Rugby fixtures, but we've had some really good championship results and championship cup results. So we're in the quarterfinals of that. Which is really pleasing, but as I said, it is a balancing act we're playing at the moment.
Brilliant. And obviously you've lost a few players due to concussion. We spoke off camera about Josh Carrington. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. You know, a couple of nasty injuries last week. Josh Carrington picked up a concussion in the last play of the game. Evan Sheldon, who's been excellent for us this season, picked up a particularly bad one with a fractured eye socket right in the first phase of the game, actually. So he was off within a minute, and quite our influential centre, Steph Trimp, also picked up a nasty concussion. So to lose 3 in the matter of, I think it was 2 in the first 10 minutes, and the third one was the last play of the game. So it was disappointing, but unfortunately, we know the nature of the game, these things happen.
And talk to us a little bit about the expansive rugby programme you've got going on at Cardiff Met at the moment. It's quite deep and spans quite a lot. That must be quite helpful.
Yeah, it's a huge rugby programme when you consider sort of from the men's performance the team. There's 2 teams within that. Then you've got 8 BUCS teams. Then there's another 3 Saturday teams. There's 12 teams in total within our programme. Then with the women's side of it, is the first, the seconds. I've seen the amount of girls that are training out there. And it's fantastic to sort of see that. And along with that, then you've got the WRU CDC. PDC, the Play Development Centre, which I think is going to be another sort of excellent sort of product within Cardiff Met, as well as all the mini and junior sections we've got going on there as well. So, you know, there's a hell of a lot of rugby going on there, and you know, it's a real pillar of the community, and certainly it's a real strength within university rugby in Wales.
Brilliant stuff. Well, I'll let you go, but good luck for this evening. Go well. Take care.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Great to hear from Dr. Ian Gardner there chatting with Stella before this game. Yes, good evening everyone. Here we are then. It's Wednesday night. The crowds are in. The noise is building. The atmosphere is palpable. This is BUCS Super Rugby. 2 super institutions colliding with force here tonight in Gloucester. Keep an eye on those Richter scales, because the magnitude of this fixture to either sets of fans and players is poised to send shockwaves throughout the land. It's 3rd against 4th, and a win tonight would certainly help both sides' efforts in a pursuit of a top of the table finish. Both teams are also looking for a quick return to good form as well. Hartpury falling on the road 38-21 to Bath as the brothers begin to find their strides from home, and Cardiff Met's venture north to Nottingham ended in a last-minute 43-39 defeat at Highfield's. Heartbreak for the Archers on the road last week. And so the stage is set, but before we meet our players, allow me to introduce you to one player who's particularly jealous she's not been a part of the action out there tonight at Kingsholm. It's Elizabeth Shermer. You're back for more action, and it's a BUCS Super Rugby action. How are you feeling?
Great. Well, I wouldn't miss it for the world, so really excited to be here and really excited to see this fixture.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for it. Now, both sides are wanting to bounce back from losses on the road last week. Hartpury are back at home. Met have a reputation to protect. Does that change the dynamic of the matchup in your experience?
I think it just means both teams are going to come out even more eager to play and even more eager to put those big hits in, because you know what it's like after a loss. You want to come out, back out here and wrong the right, or right the wrong, sorry.
Well, here's a reminder of what happened last week in BUCS Super Rugby. Leeds Beckett lost at home to Loughborough, the African Violet, on a real charge at the moment in BUCS Super Rugby. Bath defeated Hartpury, as I've already said, 38-21 at home. The brothers finding form at the right time of the year. Nottingham 43-39 last minute last minute drama action there up at Highfields. Cardiff losing to Swansea at home. Big win for Swansea University, 31-17 on the road. And Exeter University, that game was streamed last week. It was a pleasure to be at. It was amazing to watch. And that's the 24-15 scoreline you see there at the bottom of your screen. And we'll take a look at what the table looked like as well coming into this fixture as well. So everyone's got 5 games played. And as I've said already, Cardiff Met sitting in third at the moment despite 2 losses on the bounce now. Hartpury in just behind them. And you can see from the points here in the table what it would mean to either side to break that 20-point mark barrier, Elizabeth, and jump up into cementing their top position.
Yeah, it's really going to be a fight for getting into third place this game, isn't it? And as you said, like, a lot's on the line. They've both got a lot to prove, and this fixture is big anyway without all of these other things going on.
It is. It's huge without all those other things going on, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So we will have some score updates for you later on in the game as well. Nottingham versus Leeds was the earliest kickoff today at 2 o'clock at Highfields. The rumour on the mill is that Leeds Beckett triumphed in that match, but we will get confirmation for you in a few minutes' time. Cardiff against Exeter was a later kickoff as well as Swansea versus Bath. 2 games happening in the south of Wales, but one South Wales side has travelled here this evening. Hartpury versus Cardiff Met at Kingsholm is our final game of the day, but of course Loughborough versus Durham was another late kickoff, so as and when we get news of that fixture as well, we will make sure we feed that on to you, because you don't want to miss out on knowing what's happened in BUCS Super Rugby. And speaking of not wanting to miss out on knowing what's going on, we should probably meet the teams in question as the minutes are counting down closer and closer to kick-off here at Kingsholm. Let's meet them, the men that will be facing off in the middle. BUCS Super Rugby stalwart Dan Murphy makes 5 changes to his starting side compared to last week's defeat on the road to Bath. Tyler Harvey of Scotland Under-20 promoted from a bench spot to start in the front row. Fellow first-year Liam LaRue gets a similar promotion from bench duties last week also. The former Gloucester Under-18 Ellis Hart is also brought into a starting position on the open side flank, and a Gloucester Academy product in Tom Warts rounds off that starting pack. JJ Williams, the former Bristol Bear, is given starting honours in the side today as well. He'll be working very closely with the only other new change in the Hartpury side. Tommy Matthews comes in after not being involved last week, and he'll be looking to bring international talent into the mix with the likes of Matt Ward and Corbin Smith eager to get a piece of the ball playing action. And make sure you keep an eye on your 2 co-captains this evening, Will Goffrey and Wilf McCarthy. Always impressive in that cherry red for Hartpury. Several new names amongst the replacements for Hartpury as well. A university famed for its rugby was never going to be short of quality, and this bench is testament to this fact. Former Gloucester Under-18 Keelan Cullen, Bath Under-18 Tom Hill, and Scarlets Under-18 Scott Davis available for deployment in the forward pack. And a pair from the Bears, the 2 new names as backs replacements. Bears scholarship student George Perry is alongside former Bears Under-18 Reece Price to join in the fun later this evening. And from one huge name in BSR coaching to another, with Dr. Danny Milton and Dr. Ian Gardner making a whopping 7 changes to the starting side compared to that at Highfields last week. Evan Wood, the first of 3 changes in that starting pack, with the other 2 both being made in the back row. Dragons age grade Josh Hart comes in on the blindside flanker position, and Ewan Guy returns not only to retain his starting open side role, but captains the side again and retains that armband also. It's a new halfback pairing for Met, and they're reuniting Rory Morgan and Sam Berry at 9 and 10 respectively, with a fresh set of legs in the centre, courtesy of Cardiff and Wales age grade Elijah Evans. And Toby Baldwin returns to the team after a week's rest following his involvement in the defeat on the road to Bath at the Wreck. 6 new faces amongst the Archers replacements this evening. Former Dragon Connor Chapman alongside former Chief Liam Newstead are 2 covering the front row, and the towering 6'4" frame of Gethin Cannon is ready to fly off the bench also. And Zach Roberts and Ross McKay also new across the bench for the Archers, and former Cardiff and Wales Under-18s Jake Thomas. He's poised and ready to feature later on in this fixture. And here are the Cardiff Met visiting side making their way out onto the Kingsholm pitch. You can hear the noise from this home crowd. It's not a pleasant welcome, but that's a BUCS Super Rugby welcome for the Archers. And now the noise begins to build, the hype begins to raise. Here come Hartpury University. Well, we're ready here in the stadium. The players are ready on the pitch. Elizabeth, are you ready for this as well?
I am very much ready for this.
Well, here we go. Sam Berry with the ball at his feet. He's going to get us started. And it can't come a moment sooner.
Time is on.
BUCS Super Rugby, round 6. Here we go. Big collisions from the off. And Joe Cowell, last season's club captain, heavily involved in that first collision.
Yes!
And the first collision sort of sets the precedent for the rest of the match, doesn't it?
It really does. It's nice to just get underway, and if it's a big one, you're like, yes, let's go.
Good take in the air there from Cardiff Met Sam Trod. But Hartpury, just as their women's team did in the WNL, flying up in defence and putting Cardiff Met on the back foot from the off. A little bit of a seatbelt tackle there on Brandon Harvey, but the American second rower has made sure his side have the ball out to Roma Zhang. A big collision there on Josh Hart, the blindside flanker for the Archers. Took an absolute walloping there from the Hartpury defence. Roy Morgan put a nice little cheeky kick in behind to get his Archer side a nice bit of territory.
They are some big hits. I think it's setting a precedent for this game, isn't it? They're not starting lightly, and I've got a feeling it's going to carry on.
And I was very excited to see Roma Zhang on the ball there from the off for Cardiff Met, of course. Part of the Harlequins setup now. It was made official in the summer with the announcement. He's already been in the Prem Cup with them as well. And there's no such thing as bad experience when you're involved in that setup. But Hartpury's line out not functioning 100% from the off, and so Cardiff Met have the scrum put in. This is a very dangerous position to let a side like Cardiff Met be.
Yeah, very dangerous. I just wonder, is it a bit too early to become the first ball as a back ball? It's a lot of pressure on your anchor. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But high pressure situation here.
You can hear the grunt from the referee microphone from both packs. And the ball is out in that back line. Gus Patterson doing his best to tidy it up because it was slightly messy distribution there. Lovely inside ball from Morgan to Zhang, but he's swallowed up by the likes of Liam LaRue. More big carries, courtesy of Cardiff Met's big forwards. But it's out in that back line. And that's a bit of a miscommunication, a bit of a missed pass there.
Scrum advantage.
But Elijah Evans again doing well to tidy it up. Oh, lovely pass out to Toby Baldwin on the far touchline.
Tackle!
And another big hit coming in on Josh Hart. I'm sure the blindside is starting to feel like he's being targeted by that Hartpury defence. But now, oh, just as we thought Cardiff Met had a little bit of space to attack into, Sam Trott spilled the ball forwards, but we will come back for a penalty advantage for Cardiff Met.
7, high.
Yeah,
high tackle.
High tackle.
High tackle from Ewan Guy, the captain, back into the side after last week. No, sorry, not Ewan Guy. Ellis Hart, who is also a change in the Hartpury side from last week. A Gloucester under 18.
Line, please, red. Numbers, please, blue. Perfect.
Where are you putting this in the line out then, Elizabeth? You said Hartpury went wrong by going too far towards the back on the first one. Where did Met put this?
Well, they're two pod things, so you've got an option. You either go between the pods or you can take the front, but they want to give the front. There you go, right between, just an overthrow.
Slight overthrow there to sails over the top of Barnaby Waddle, who was really lofted to extreme heights to try and claim that. However, Hartpury are the ones to pounce on the loose ball, but now it's Cardiff Met's turn to show them how defensive effort is done.
Let's use your problem, not mine.
JJ Williams sends that sky high. Good contest by Rory Morgan.
Thanks for asking to.
And indeed by Ellis Hart. Didn't gain the most amount of metres that kick though.
No, it's quite short. I'm sure he probably was trying to get it a bit more on it, or maybe into touch.
Yes!
Williams, again, nice and high. Good hang time for his team to run onto. But Met have dealt with it well. Here we go. Good carry for Josh Hart. The first time he's probably not been hurtled backwards back towards the Severn Bridge.
No, you lost it in the tackle. Let it come.
And somehow it's fallen on the side of Cardiff Met still. Rory Morgan looking to see what options he had available. And Brandon Harvey knocked it on. So Hartpury scoop it up with Josiah Edwards-Giroux.
Advantage over from the knock-on.
Referee alerting Hartpury that advantage is now gone. So they send it downfield. And Berry's going to tidy this one up for the Archers.
Inside. Hold 9 and 2. Good.
Great control there by Matt Ward. I'm only used to seeing that on the Gloucester United football pitch, not the Kingsholm Park, but it's working well for the Hartpury team. Advantage for Hartpury. Cardiff Met offside. Big carry there from Tyler Harvey. Little chip in behind. But it's only found Rory Morgan, and of course Hartpury with that penalty advantage, right option to try something a little different.
Yeah, for sure. If you've got that free shot, why not take it? Be a bit creative. You don't know. Hopefully it pays off. Even if it doesn't, you can go back for the penalty.
Shot called.
Shot called here from Hartpury, and Tommy Matthews is setting himself ready to take a potential 3 points here from the get-go. For two sides that are so evenly matched and two teams that are such big powerhouses in BUCS Super Rugby, is this the right call to just take points early on?
I think so. It's very early on in the game, and men have a larger range than women do when it comes to kicking. So it means they're able to get points on the board. And if they can keep that scoreboard ticking over, it keeps that pressure on Met the entire time.
Well, Tommy Matthews certainly had the range, and he did have the accuracy to go with it. 3 points on the board for Hartpury University. It means it's Hartpury 3, Cardiff Met 0 in BUCS Super Rugby, round 6.
Whenever you're ready, then 10. Whenever you're ready.
Berry sends that out wide. He was looking for Toby Baldwin.
It's fine, it's back off blue, back off blue.
It looked like he was the one that knocked it back, but it wasn't a teammate that collected it. It was Hartpury University's Ellis Hart, and now it's his side starting to build an attack. JJ Williams going for the box kick. Clearly the kicking game is going to be a crucial decider at Kingsholm this evening.
Yeah, they're definitely playing a territory game. They're wanting to play in the right areas of the field, which you can understand, because if you can kick penalties from there, why not?
Great take in the air from Sam Trod for Cardiff Met, and now what will they do with a bit of open field? Brandon Harvey powering his way forward for Cardiff Met. Ben Murphy now on the ball. Prem Cup winner with Worcester Warriors when they were still going, and Morgan sees some space in behind, and the mark is called out on that far touchline. Great awareness though from the scrum half.
Yeah, great awareness. I feel like he's not going to do a South Africa though and call for a scrum.
Not free kicks,
Well, we're still inside the Hartpury half. But the last time Cardiff Met had their own line out, it was an overthrow, so it worked out well for the Hartpury side. They'll certainly have their fingers crossed for more of the same.
Yeah, they'll definitely want to call something now which helps their hookers settle into the game. You don't want to compound errors.
And there we go, straight to the front for Ewan Guy, but the pass from Rory Morgan to his scrum half didn't reach their hands. Instead it was with Gus Patterson, but spilt in the tackle, but from a rip forwards by Hartpury, the referee is saying. So it's going to be a scrum down Cardiff Met, and that's a little bit of luck going the way of the Archers.
Sometimes you need a bit of the rub of the green.
Yeah.
Now, we spoke about it a little bit in the women's match, but for those who are only joining us just now for the first time, first of all, where on earth have you been? You missed an amazing WNL game, but also we discussed the pitch surface here at Kingsholm. It's a relatively new artificial surface, and what sort of game does that actually encourage?
It definitely allows a quick game of rugby, but also scrums quicker because you're not losing your feet, so it enables us to see this expansive game.
Cardiff Met using a bit of trickery there from scrum time. Romajane coming off his wing to take the ball. Ben Murphy, fresh from the front row duties, is on the ball as well. Berry, he has a little chip over the top. Oh, big collision there. Brandon Harvey coming in on Corbin Smith.
You've both completely fallen. He's low, always
and the referee is calling a fair contest, which, to be fair to him, he is explaining to the players they're both low, both going for the ball, and that's just, it's a rugby incident, isn't it?
Yeah, and unfortunately in a contact sport you do get those incidents coming about, as we can see here. Oh, I do think he's a bit lucky. It did look a bit high.
Hey, you need to be properly in, please. You're not
but rugby incidents also happen. They were both low on the ground, but it's definitely not disappointing on a collision front.
Well, if we had a better TMO setup, Elizabeth, we could let you replay that over and over and over again. But we've got a game on our hands here. We've got a game to get to, and it's restarting with a scrum, and that ball seemed to go nowhere for a second. Great scrum from Hartpury initially. Cardiff Met came back into it, and the referee says, as a result, boys, it was just a mess. Let's go again.
Yeah, which is fair enough. You want to make the right decision there.
It's almost like scrums in these early stages, they have teething issues, don't they? It takes a while for both sides to suss out how they're going to scrum and therefore how they can continue forward in this game.
For sure, you always have a game plan with how you want to attack the scrum, but you never know what the opposition's going to do, so you need to kind of work out how are they binding, how are they doing their shot, and then go from there.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Red one, out and across.
Big penalty call here from the referee. Cardiff Met could level the scores if they so elect to. And Sam Berry points towards the post. It's a penalty against Tyler Harvey. That's Scotland under 20 from a friendly. Not scrummaging straight, peeling around. Here's a replay of that challenge now, Elizabeth. You get a nice, good slow-mo look at that.
I think if we had a TMO in a Prem's game, he might be looking at the bunker there, but it is also a rugby incident. These things do happen. He is also dipping into the challenge, so there's definitely mitigation there, but yeah, huge collision.
It's a very tall 6'6" frame there, Brandon Harvey, that he had to get down low. And the kick's gone through from his teammate Sam Berry, so the score is level here at Kingsholm. It means it's Hartpury University 3, Cardiff Metropolitan 3. So we're all square at Kingsholm. And we've already seen how physical it's going to be in this game, and I can assure you, for anyone watching along, that will continue for the full 80 minutes. Great take there from kickoff by Toby Baldwin. And there is Brandon Harvey bashing his way through the Hartpury defence. Always a job requirement almost of every second row to be able to punch those holes in defence.
Yeah, for sure. It comes with the job description.
Good clearance from Rory Morgan down the field, finds Corbin Smith. The fullback looked to use some fancy feet. Instead he's brought down by the captain, Ewan Guy. Good quick hands there from Hartpury, and coming off his wing with a bit of pace is Matt Ward. He's going to be a winger that's hungry to get his fair share of the action tonight. Oh, lovely looping pass. I'm not sure who that was supposed to go to, but it is scooped up finally by Ollie Holiday.
You've stepped away.
Goffey carrying into contact. One of our co-captains for this evening. And it's out with the other co-captain, Wilf McCarthy.
It's released, he's gone.
He's released that ball. He's very smart there to keep play going, keep play alive. But the ball is lost on the floor to Cardiff Met. Cow holds it and delivers it out wide to Romajane. But he's dragged into touch by Josiah Edwards-Rowe. And that was really good work there from the Cardiff Met backline, and indeed its tight head prop Joe Cow to get that out wide quickly.
Yeah, really good turnover there from the ruck, and then, as you say, that speed to move the ball once you get that transition is exceptional, and it means that you then got front foot ball.
Well, let's take a replay of this turnover. It was great work from McCarthy on the floor, releases the ball, gets up, goes again, because there's probably a bit of space in front of him, but luckily, from a Cardiff Met perspective, they were aware of what he was going to do, and Brandon Harvey gets that turnover to his captain. They'll be arguing about who actually turned that over on the bus on the way home, I'm sure. How about this for a prop?
That's a dummy.
Forwards don't do that normally, do they?
I think we actually are full of surprises. I think we're underestimated sometimes.
Well, I spoke about it to him before the match. He had a very strong game here last year on this occasion. He was denied a try, which he feels he scored. A lot of people watching in the stand felt he scored. And in the end, he had to put it back, and his captain, well, captain now, Ewan Guy, stole the ball off him and went over himself. And they still argue about it to this day. So it won't be the last that we see of Joe Cow getting on the ball and trying to get himself close to that try line.
9 need you in.
Great take. A line out time from LaRue. And this lovely high ball from Tommy Matthews. That's going to trouble the Met backfield, but it's not going to trouble Sam Trod. Easy collection there for the fullback in the end. Evans. Good work from Evans to break through that first tackle. So important to power through the initial contact.
Yeah, as soon as you get behind defences, it just becomes that much easier with attack to then see the space and catch them on the back foot.
Well, Berry's gone for the high ball across the park as well. Lots of people are under this, including Trod and Patterson.
Scrum advantage.
And Hartpury have a scrum advantage. They kick the ball away through Williams. And Guy is chasing back. He's going to be under some pressure here now, the captain. But somehow Cardiff Met have tidied that up. Roman Zheng now, bit of space for him. What can the winger do? He does really well under pressure by Hartpury, and as does Rory Morgan.
Get back, get back. Use.
Joe Cow links up with Ewan Guy. Gets Met out of their own 22. JJ Williams just down in the backfield receiving some treatment for Hartpury. So they are currently playing with 14 players. Big hit there from Josh Hart. The blind side has been hunting for that since he was targeted by the Hartpury defence. That's redemption for him, isn't it?
That was an absolutely brilliant hit. Perfectly timed, perfect technique. If that's what you want to do, that's how you do it.
I felt personal almost from Josh Hart, because he really was targeted. 2 men on him every single time he seemed to carry the ball at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to get one back for those big hits earlier.
Well, please say as well that JJ Williams is up and he's making his way back to join the rest of the Hartpury setup.
Yeah, it looks like he's hurt his shoulder, maybe on the landing or on a tackle or something.
Great take in the air by Waddle. Now Berry brings Patterson onto the ball. Good run there by the inside centre. Cardiff Met coming back to the blind now. Berry, quick hands to Zheng. Fends off one challenge, fends off two, bounces off the third. What a player he is to watch. Evan Wood, Wales under-18 captain during the Six Nations recently.
No 50-22, wingers on.
That's a lovely cross-field kick. Good work out here for Toby Baldwin. He's completely on his own though. He needs a friend and he manages to get two.
Let it go.
Joe Cow acts as a scrum half. You've seen his displays already as a potential backline candidate, and he's done really well to work there and for Cardiff Met to keep the ball. Patterson once more, big fend on his opposite number. McCarthy, lovely challenge between the two centres.
No 6, don't go in there.
Berry's going for that crossfield kick again because it nearly worked last time. This could still bounce for Toby Baldwin.
Okay.
but it comes off the knees of Corbin Smith and he boots it into the stands on that far side. For the last 5 minutes, Elizabeth, it's been all Cardiff Met and it's been brilliant to watch.
It really has. They've been making the gain line, they've been getting quick ball, and as you can see, the vision to actually utilise those spaces out wide and get how to get there by kick passes. Really, really creative way, and they've obviously identified that's an area where Hartpury aren't defending, and so they're trying to change the pitches on them.
Well, the referee's actually calling a knock-on by Corbin Smith initially before he booted it out into touch. So it didn't come off just his leg, it came off another part of his body in order to initiate a knock-on scenario.
Time's off. Alex.
And as a result, Met have opted for a scrum.
Keep it off if it's not try time, please, mate. Yeah. Well, let's go, off we go. Off we go.
Got lots of Water boys making their way onto the pitch. World Rugby are trying to clamp down on this, and our referee in the middle is trying to clamp down on it too, but sometimes it's quite sneaky, I'd imagine, for you players, because it offers a bit of communication between yourself and coaches.
100%, you get a lot of messages through that channel, and the message here might be, look boys, last scrum we got a penalty, let's go again, scrum for the pen, you've then even got the option of the corner, or you can go for the post.
That's fine, he's good, it's out.
Well, Cardiff Met have set 4 members of their back line within about 10 metres width of each other. So are they going to run some sort of fancy move from the scrum here? We'll have to find out. Here we go, Berry, Patterson. He carries it up himself, he's supported by Elijah Evans. Morgan looks back to that blind side. But Hartpury have won the turnover.
Your man's put him there, he's out the way, you could have cleared the red man out, but you decided to put him to the guy in front.
And it's the co-captain, Will Goffey, stepping in at the vital moment, securing possession for his side. And Cardiff Met are sent marching back.
Yeah, massive, massive turnover. Cardiff Met have had all the momentum, and sometimes you just need something like that you can hold on to as a team to then move forward with.
Yeah, edge of the way. He wasn't in the game. You could have run straight in and had a clear out, but you chose to run into him.
Well, they've gone long to the back here, Hartpury. It's worked well. Great take from Daniel Cook.
Oh, no, stop.
JJ Williams is the one putting in the high ball, and it's bounced in front of Toby Baldwin. Luckily, the bounce wasn't, again, over his head, because that could have been messy for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, ideally, you really don't want to let the ball bounce, but as you say, he was really fortunate there with how it did.
Berry again looking at these cross-field kicks.
Thank you.
Trying to put Corbin Smith under some pressure. Oh, Corbin Smith's found a bit of a gap here. He's got some space to run into now, the fullback, again meeting the shoulder of Brandon Harvey. And his fellow second rower, Barnaby Waddle, flattens Tommy Matthews as the fly-off sends that one out into touch along the ground.
Yeah, neither teams really at the moment want to play in their own half, do they? They're very much trying to both play a territorial game. But what's really nice there is, as you can see, a little pass
edge to the right then, guys.
It's the right idea. Unfortunately, just had a bit too much on it.
Very well-timed challenge as well. You must admire that as a second rower as well.
100%. It's all about the timing.
Great take there from Bertie Taylor in the line-out this time for Cardiff Met, and they're starting to get their wheels going. Morgan gives that to Baldwin, though, back inside to Joe Cowell. Great work from the Cowler. And it's a penalty for Cardiff Met. Hands on the ground before competing for the ball. Ellis Hart, the one to blame. So with another penalty, Berry just weighing up whether he backs himself for the post or the corner. And he waved the crumbs in the air and he's gone for the corner, Elizabeth.
Because the crumbs give you all that information.
The crumbs never lie.
Guys, let's get on your mark first and we'll worry about numbers.
Well, the last time Cardiff Met were in this position, they came away with nothing. And they'll be looking to change that this time round. It started well. Barnaby Waddle claiming the ball. Brilliant work from Cardiff Met to get this rolling drive started. Evan Woods going, digging for it.
You've gone to ground, then you've gone back up and into your own man. Blue's gone to ground, then come back up and gone into your own man.
That's a big call from the referee.
Big call, quite a big mistake as well. really unfortunate. They're just not being clinical enough in this area now. That's what, 2-3 line-outs, 1 overthrow, and then these others have been turned over quite quickly after.
Well, we've got to praise the Hartpury defensive effort as well, because this isn't the first time that they've been inside their own half defending against a strong Met pack, and it must be that pressure coming in from that defence.
Yeah, you can see there he's gone down and then he's gone to get back up again, and you just can't do that.
Set!
Oh, good scrum from both sides there. Ewan Guy desperately trying to chase down Tom Warts, who was peeling away.
Good spell, thank you.
Could almost have been completely away, charging down that pitch. Matthews, boot to ball. And Sam Trod goes back inside, bumps into his own player. And Morgan sends that straight out to Roma Zheng. He knows who he wants to have carrying that ball for Cardiff Met. And Zheng is fighting with all of his might to stay in field, despite the best efforts of Edwards Giroux. Berry out the back to Patterson, here we go. Quick hands from Trod, Toby Baldwin, what can the 7-star do? Morgan shows and goes himself, he's got to be careful here. He's almost isolated. Good support from his fellow archers. There's no scrum half in there, so Joe Cal stepping in once more, another back position filled in by the tight head. Brandon Harvey.
Your man's holding him in, 9.
And this spilt forward by Ewan Guy, the captain. This is a big opportunity now for Hartpury. Could the counter-attack be on? Corbin Smith puts boot to ball. The bounce is favourable for him as well. Bit of confusion in the backfields for Cardiff Met. This is pretty dangerous now, Elizabeth. They're going in for the counter.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant chase off that kick. As you saw, he didn't get to the first man, but he then managed to get to the second.
It's out in the back line with Hartpury. They've done so well to turn that ball over.
Lost now.
All the momentum is with them now in this latest passage of play. Matthews is a crossfield on for Hartpury. It's covered. It's covered by Roma Zheng, who calls the mark, but he's also won the penalty for Cardiff Met because Matt Ward was offside.
Yeah, and so then you've got to remember it's going back to where the ball was kicked from, not from when it lands.
It's a difficult angle for Berry to work with, but he sent it into the Hartpury half. And it will be a line-out for Met once more. Would you look to keep this in the line-out as a forward pack, Elizabeth?
Okay, your man's just doing
I think that they're doing quite well with the pills and then having the crash ball 12 up the middle. That's getting them a lot of gain line at the moment and momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with that tactic.
Nice easy ball there for Cardiff Met. Brandon Harvey taking it out the front.
Go back. Go back, Brew, go back.
Rory Morgan, lovely hands to Roma Zheng. But the gap just disappeared in front of the winger. And he couldn't chase his feet quick enough, so he was out into touch. It's now Hartpury's turn for a line-out. What did they do with this possession?
Well, I got it very wrong last time. They very much proved me wrong, didn't they? I can see them clearing it from here, maybe wanting to get a bit more territory, because that's kind of what they've done so far this first half.
Great take in the air once more from Cook. Matthews invites Tom Warts, who is standing out in the centre channels, the number 8. He's made some good meters.
Time's off.
Oh, I think it might be his shoulders hurting him again.
Yeah, we've taken a stoppage here for player welfare reasons for JJ Williams, a bit of concern around the scrum off, but also for Tom Warts, the number 8, who's down on the floor receiving some treatment. It's an opportunity for those water carriers to come onto the pitch and to start giving some messages of advice. Elizabeth, put yourself in those shoes. What advice are you giving to either side?
I think with Cardiff Met, keep doing what you're doing, like you're getting that gain line. Just, you don't have to be too fancy, just keep doing the basics really well. Hartpury, actually defensively they're doing really well, but can we start to create some more things in attack? I think they're kicking it away so much because Cardiff Met are putting so much pressure in defence.
10. Whilst my arms are up at the line out, you've got to stay back 10, right? You can tell them the same, and you guys got it. Same for them.
Referee just having a quick word there as well with Tommy Matthews about the distance that Hartpury need to keep at line-out time.
Gents, I've just said the same
Is
to them.
that something that they need to be aware of, not to give away a silly penalty? Because silly penalties is how you invite a side back into a match and maybe even hand them a win as well.
It really is. You've just got to not be obvious. You have to do it tastefully and make sure that you're still following the rules. Sometimes when movement starts happening, that's when you can close the gap a little bit, but you've got to maintain it, because, yeah, you said you don't want to be letting Cardiff Met in your 22.
Oh, that's not what we want to see as well. Unfortunately, Tom Warts, the number 8, he's not getting back up with a lot of might or force. That looks like an injury to his right knee, and I hope it's nothing serious.
So if he was moving it,
because to lose a player like that this early in the game, Elizabeth, that's a big blow for Hartpury.
It is. The head coach spoke about it. Dan spoke about him in the pre-game, about how crucial he is to this team and how much he can do. So yeah, it's gutting, and his carries are really going to be missed.
Well, we bid farewell to the second-year student for now. I'm sure he will return in BUCS Super Rugby later on in this campaign, but it means we are being introduced to third-year Scott Davis, who's coming on. Bit of a conflict of interest for him here as well, because he is a Carmarthen County player, former Scarlets under-16 and under-18s. So he's got Welsh roots, and he's going up against one of the biggest names in Welsh University Rugby. But that's just got to spur him on even more than the occasion already does.
Yeah, I feel like he'll use that to really be like, look what I can do, this is awesome.
Well, it's a big initial shove from the Cardiff Met pack. Hartpury being told to use it quickly, and they do. Great work from Corbin Smith. The fullback proving that he can do anything he likes across this entire pitch. But that pass from Goffey to Matthews wasn't exactly what the fly half was probably expecting. And Goffey this time instead takes it up himself. McCarthy, Edward Giroux. Great tackle from Gus Patterson of Cardiff Met to hold him up, slow down this play as well. Almost kills an attacking platform, doesn't it, when you slow that ball down?
Yeah, it really does. And what you can notice as well is Hartpury are putting in way more people into the breakdown, which means they've got less attackers, but Met have way more defenders. This one they're meant to, though, because they're definitely wanting a little caterpillar for a kick.
Well, and the kick is up from Williams. Has found Trod. Big hit coming in there from Will Goffey, the Hartpury hooker. Morgan thinks he sees some space in behind, and he certainly has found it, but it's bobbled away from the touchline. That could have been good for a 50-22. But again, it's Morgan who takes the kick. May have got some space here if they want to use it. Berry says he does, but the pass not quite what they wanted. Evans tidying things up once more. Guy now on the ball. Nice quick ball there for Rory Morgan to deliver. And that's a knock-on from Josh Hart, so Hartpury have the scrum advantage. They've got an opportunity here to do something with the ball, maybe catch Cardiff Met napping. And Matthews sends a long pass of his own out to Ollie Holiday now. All Cardiff Met winning the turnover at the ruck with a counter, but because we have that scrum advantage to come back to, we will indeed march towards the middle of the park for a Hartpury scrum.
Yeah, I definitely think Cardiff Met are winning the battle at the ruck at the moment. As you said earlier, they're slowing it down. They're counter-rucking really hard, and it just means that Hartpury are that second longer to get going in attack, which means it's much harder and that the defence have the upper hand.
Come on, let's go! Gents, at the moment, I'm not going to reward either front row because neither of you are both going forward on either side, right? Just going forward, just go forward straight. There's Mark, guys.
Referee's telling them off like naughty schoolboys. Just push forward, push straight. None of you are doing it properly, so none of you are going to get a penalty. Do you like a ref that's straight up with that, very up front?
100%, but he also makes it sound easy. It's not as easy as you think.
Bind!
I'm sure Joe Cowell will tell him all about that after the match, as will Tyler Harvey. Well, that's a better scrum from both sides, definitely pushing a lot straighter, and it's a lot more stable now. Hartpury, space for Matthews to run around the outside of Patterson. But the centre drags him down, and is now with Edward Giroux. Hartpury back inside the Met 22.
Big carry from Will Goffey.
First man, it's fine, first man.
And Ewan Guy's turned it over. He's stolen the ball, the open side for Cardiff Met. They've got to make sure this is quick ball as well if they want anything to do with a counter-attack, but they don't need it because they've won the penalty.
Hey, steady. Go away, 6.
And Cameron Cobbett just wanted to exchange a few more pleasantries with them after that ruck. We can get back to rugby, and Sam Berry is going to send this up the field. That is a missed opportunity for Hartpury, isn't it?
Yeah, massively missed. It was so much better. They were getting that tempo, they were keeping bodies on feet, and so they were really able to exploit the Cardiff defence. Cracking again from their ruck technique there to really turn it over. It's a real talent.
Guys. Numbers, 6.
Good take from Waddle once more at the line out. Patterson, lovely tip on to Josh Hart, who sends the Hartpury defenders backwards with his carry. Evans, fending 2, fending 3, fending 4. Oh, and just as he thought he broke through tackle number 5, he spilled the ball forwards, but I don't think the referee's picked up on it yet. Rory Morgan-Snipes around the sides of the ruck. Hartpury still in disbelief that wasn't called as a knock on Cardiff Met. Taking their chance now with good territory and quick ball. Brandon Harvey.
Just watch 5, please.
Again, Josh Hart goes forward. Ramajang.
6, never back on side.
Penalty advantage for Cardiff Met.
Gents, your man straight off the feet, trapping him in. We'll come back.
And they will take that advantage. Cameron Cobbett offside.
Yeah, time's off then, please.
And we've got time off here so that Barnaby Waddle can receive some treatment. Let's take a look at this most recent passage of play, because it was electric.
It really was. Honestly, the fend and the feet hit. Hartpury just went a bit too high, but the intent to move forward. Knock on there, but unfortunately the refs can't see everything. They don't have the TMO facilities other games do in the men's premiership. So play on.
They won't hear us shouting from all the way up on this gantry, unfortunately, but it's been brilliant to watch so far. And what's most impressive is actually Elijah Evans taking that ball forwards for Cardiff Met and trying to win the tackle. It's so important as an attacker. We've mentioned it before already. So important to try and win that initial contact, because otherwise you are just going to go backwards.
Yeah, for sure. And what he's doing there is he's dazzling with his feet, isn't he? He's constantly moving, and defenders, you need to keep an eye on where they're going. And realistically, you need to look at their torso, because that's what you want to hit. Their feet might be doing all sorts of funky things, but it's their torso that you can follow.
The Elizabeth Shermer top tip of the week. Don't look at the hypnotising feet, just stare at the torso, and that can't hypnotise you.
Yeah, I say this, backs hypnotise me all the time, honestly.
Alex, just have a word with the physios. Just check 5's okay for me. Thanks, mate. Time is on.
Sam Berry's going for the kick here to add the extra 3 points.
Okay, that's fine.
The extra 3 points that Cardiff Met so desperately want, and they do indeed get it, because they can't keep visiting that 22 and not coming away with anything. But this time they get the 3. It's Hartpury University 3, Cardiff Metropolitan University 6 in BUCS Super Rugby round 6. Rory Morgan's got that. He sends it straight back down to Hartpury. He wants them to do that again. He didn't like that one.
Okay, retreat, Red. Just hold good, thank you.
Looked like it was going to be a good take from Sam Berry, but instead Bertie Taylor steals it from his clutches.
No hands!
The number 8 wants to take it up himself. Thankfully Cardiff Met have kept that ball, because it looked like he was isolated there for a second. Hartpury are doing really well at these rucks at the moment. To put the pressure on Met to look for that turnover. It's got to come eventually, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it will. They've just got to keep being patient. Keep being patient, and if they can start getting one low, one high, they're more likely to get that turnover.
Well, it's a penalty to Cardiff Met, holding on the floor from Hartpury moments after Evan Wood did his best Joe Marler impression by heading that ball. It wasn't a knock on, the ref made that very clear. Play could continue, but Hartpury ultimately give up the chance to attack as a Cardiff Met penalty.
And again, we're back down in the Hartpury 22. We've spent a lot of time
Use
here.
the line, please, guys.
The score probably doesn't reflect how much time we've spent down here this half. So we'll
Four,
see,
guys,
can
four,
they
cool.
come away with points again? They haven't so far been able to from the line out.
But that'll be something that the coaches will want to rectify sooner rather than later as well. Lots of visits, lots of time in this 22. Not a lot of points on the board to show for it. Maybe that can change here. Waddle stands in at scrum half and feeds Josh Hart once more. He's made a good 10 metres there, the blindside flanker. And now Brandon Harvey, not held in the initial tackle. Here we go, Joe Cowell, lovely offload from the tight head to Patterson.
Now let it come, let it come.
Cardiff Met on a rampage here at the moment. And now it's the forwards' turn to peel and go around those fringes. We've seen it work time and time again on this Kingsholm surface.
Blue, you've got to arrive
Ben Murphy going for it on that occasion.
Tackle release, Red.
Cardiff Met only a metre away from scoring the first try of this game. What a big moment that would be. Ewan Guy.
Hands on the line, Red, good.
Joe Cowell. And Met are over. And it's not Joe Cowell, but it's someone who so desperately deserves that try. It's Josh Hart, the number 6, reacted to an unset Hartpury defensive line and dives in for the first try of the game and the first one for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, I think so far in these first 35 minutes he has really stood out as a player that's getting them the hard yards, and he's done it again there, but great patience from Cardiff Met. Oh, I think they might be saying it's his try.
Oh, we're just looking at Joe Cowell because we like looking at him. He's a great rugby player to watch. He's a really lovely guy off it. Always happy to talk about the rugby and all of the ins and outs of the dark arts of that front row, of which he spends so much of his time. But he's played a big part in setting up that try because it was his carry that unsettled the Hartpury defence, had them not set, and then quite simply Josh Hart went over for the score, and that's an easy 2 points as well for Sam Berry. So score update for you here at Kingsholm Stadium. It's Hartpury University 3, Cardiff Metropolitan University 13. Cardiff Met have got the first try of the game. And at the moment, they've extended their lead. They hold that advantage over Hartpury University.
Tackle release, Blue! Don't go in there. No three, leave it.
Good hands from Hartpury to find their back line with a little bit of space. It was good hands initially from Tyler Harvey. He's exhibiting it again, the loose head. Fantastic work from him. Tommy Matthews brought down there. And just as Met thought they'd turn him over, he's been turned over illegally. Could this be 3 more points for Hartpury, or do you go for a corner to close the gap more?
Personally, I'd be like, we haven't had much possession. Let's go for points. Let's keep that scoreboard ticking over, because they haven't since the beginning of this half, really. But no, they're going for the corner. They're trying to pile on the pressure. So we'll see what comes of it.
Well, they've read your mind, Elizabeth. They want to keep that possession. they want to keep going.
Well, we'll see what the line-out brings.
Well, Daniel Cook's already running forward with his fingers in the air. He's telling Cardiff Met it's a very unorthodox four-man setup here for Hartpury University. Interesting to see what happens. And it's straight up into the hands of Daniel Cook. Lovely take from the second rower. Penalty advantage here for Hartpury University. Cardiff Met bringing them all down illegally. Matthews, delayed pass to Ellis Hart. Williams once again to Matthews, who puts the kick in across the pitch, but it's over the head of everyone, including his winger, Matt Ward.
Yeah, see, so with this driving maul, if you bring it down and sack it immediately before the maul is formed, you can get away with it. But unfortunately there, he was just a bit too late. The maul had already set, and so by doing that, you're then collapsing the maul illegally.
Matthews is quite clearly going to send this one into the corner. Again, we've got about 90 seconds on our clock until half-time. And what a way it would be for them to end the first half with a score of their own, Hartpury.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely want to come away with some points from this.
Well, the ball taken there by Scott Davis. He came down to support Cameron Cobbett, but it's a bit of a mess.
Let it come, let it come. On the ball,
and that ball's exchanged hands many times in that maul, but Hartpury are still the ones with their hands on it.
Oh, there, guys.
Williams quick play to his captain and hooker Will Goffey. Ellis Hart taken down by Brandon Harvey. Cook upended. Brandon Jewell, another front rower showing promising carry. And Brandon Harvey
got a tackler's got to roll.
Looked to turn that over on the floor, but tackler's not rolling away. Another penalty conceded on this pitch. But what do you do here from a Hartpury point of view?
Well, they've already not taken the points a couple of times, so you'd presume that they would, maybe they'll be snazzy, go scrum?
Time is off.
They have gone scrum.
Well, they have gone scrum.
Time is off as well, just a couple of players received some treatment because, well, I mean, you can't hide it. Every defensive set is brutal to watch because the physicality from these two teams. I said in the build-up, it's going to send shockwaves throughout the land, and it's not failing to disappoint.
No, it's not at all. The shockwaves are being felt from all the way up here.
And just look at the fans that have joined us here this evening as well. Fantastic to see so many faces from both Hartpury and Cardiff Metropolitan University down here to support their teams. People on crutches as well, Elizabeth. Look at that commitment to the cause to get down here to Kingsholm this evening. I mean, this fixture holds such a special place in the hearts and minds of all at either university, and also this stadium is historic in English rugby, so why not come down and enjoy it?
Exactly. As I said, for the women's game, what else is there better to do on a Wednesday evening?
Precisely. It's the best league in the land for a reason, and BUCS Super Rugby action delivering once more here in Gloucester.
Time is on.
Time has expired. The referee is delivering the message to the forward packs. So this will be the last act of the first half.
Crouch! Come on! Set!
Unsteady there on the engagement from both sides, but Hartpury look to get the shove on.
Use it!
Being told to use it not once but twice. Here comes Ellis Hart, taken down early by Josh Hart. LaRue. Goffey.
No hands!
Hartpury recycling ball quickly, which could be crucial here. And Scott Davis is sent tumbling backwards. Cobbett also sent tumbling backwards. Goffey once more. Finally gets his team back on the front foot. Cobbett is clattered in defence by Brandon Harvey. Here comes Brandon Jewell. Hartpury need to throw everything at this. They spent too long now in the Cardiff Met 22 to not come away with something. Matthews straightens his attack. Ben Murphy's hurt himself in that collision. The loose head starting to limp away from that one. It's gone backwards apparently from Hartpury University. A Cardiff Met over the top with a steal. Cook's come away with it.
Release, Blue. No hands, 7, let it go.
Nail-biting ends to this first half for Hartpury University. Goffey driving with all of his might to pull his Hartpury team closer to that try line. Cobbett with a lovely step. Matthews. And it's knocked on in the challenge. That's the end of the first half. Hartpury University will come away with nothing from that 22 visit, which means the half-time score is Hartpury University 3, Cardiff Metropolitan University 13. There's a 10-point gap here at Kingsholm at half-time, Elizabeth.
That was huge. That defensive set was huge. The hit, the urgency to get off the line, and mentally, that's going to be hard for Hartpury. to come back out firing. I hope they will, but that is a massive mental advantage to the Met.
Talk about throwing a kitchen sink out there, because both sides literally gave it all, and one of them is Brandon Harvey, who's taking a little bit longer than the others on your screen to get back to the dressing rooms. He is walking right in the backgrounds. We can see him from our gantry. He's walking right in the backgrounds with Dr. Ian Gardner. He's been on fire in this first half, surely already a nomination for player of the match.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, his work rate, his intent, the aggression has just been absolutely outstanding, and you can see him lifting his teammates around him just by how he plays.
Good.
I mean, it's no surprises that someone with that talent and ability has been signed into the professional rugby world already. Brandon Harvey joining San Diego Legion, of course, in the Major League Rugby tournament out in the States. There he is appearing in the background alongside Dr. Ian Gardner. My goodness, what a performance already from that man in the first half. Lots to talk about, though, from Dr. Ian Gardner's perspective, as they both head into the dressing rooms for a half-time chat, and lots for Dan Murphy to talk about too as he leaves your screen now also. But let's take a look at those best bits, the big moments from that first half, because what a half it was, Elizabeth.
What a half of rugby. This is a great strike to get Hartpury on the board.
From quite a distance as well.
Yeah, quite a distance. And do you know what?
He still had the legs to reach the stands.
He did. It's impressive.
Sam Berry with his own kicks, of course, taking Cardiff Met into the lead. And then this, the try that comes from Cardiff Met. This is just fantastic forward work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, you have to just show pure grit here and just want to be able to do this.
So there goes Joe Cow, stopped just short. And then Josh Hart dives over. It was the fact that the tight end prop just laid that back on a silver platter nice and quickly. And his side could capitalise on that, couldn't they?
Yeah, he's been another, I think, outstanding player this first half. Both him and Josh Hart have been top-notch for Cardiff Met as well.
Top-notch stuff throughout this game so far, and there's plenty more top-notch action coming your way in the coming weeks in BUCS Super Rugby and the Women's National League. Hartpury versus Cardiff Met, obviously our game this evening that you're currently enjoying with us here on the BUCS YouTube channel. And on the 15th of November, Cardiff Met Sport TV are going to be streaming Cardiff Met versus Exeter. That's courtesy of the amazing sport broadcast master students at Cardiff Metropolitan University, and then they follow that up but 2 weeks later with Cardiff Met's Women's National League fixture against Exeter University. Both of those fixtures on King Coy campus, and Exeter certainly with the wind in their sails after their win this week and also last week, a headline 75-0 win. A score like that sends shockwaves throughout a league. I wanted to use a different word, but that's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really sets a precedent for where they are as a team and what they intend to do. It's like placing down the gauntlet.
Well, BUCS Super Rugby and the Women's National League isn't the only exciting BUCS sport events coming up this season, and indeed continuing throughout the year. Take a look at what's coming up later on this season.
Open in the middle of the field. Shot away at goal, it's in. Oh, that is a lovely strike. It's crossed to the hole and one.
Welcome to the University of Nottingham. Welcome to BUCS Big Wednesday, powered by New Balance. 114 teams from 25 institutions competing across 16 sports, 6 venues.
Here we go, we are underway.
We're now in for the big one. The championship final is coming your way.
Big game then for both of these two teams. Let's see which way it will go.
Welcome to BUCS TV.
Has a man down the field, open in the middle of the field. There he goes.
Oh, it might go really done. What an excellent goal that is.
Here comes Rogers, chops it and puts it down.
Big strike. And that is in the back of the net. The Fixture end, 14 points to 10.
They can right foot it all the way in, and that's 1-0.
Wow! Nottingham won it at the death. Gonna get into the end zone again.
But one more time, your champions.
The champions are Nottingham.
The University will lift the trophy once again.
What a performance it was today.
You join us pitchside at half-time. We have got Cardiff Met in the lead with Hartpury on 3, Cardiff Met 13. How did you find the match so far?
I think it's a really exciting match. Whenever these two teams come together, they always produce good rugby. And it's good to get a lot of the teams out. Both Hartpury and Cardiff Met fans are here shouting. So I think it's just a great occasion for both teams, and for them to be playing great rugby in a great stadium is always amazing.
And in terms of obviously losing the number 8, Tom Wart, that's quite a big kind of loss for them. We just saw him walk off with, we're not sure what the injury is, but losing a player is never easy on the pitch. As a team, how do you kind of come back from that and regather yourself when that's not expected?
Yeah, definitely. With any team, however experienced they are, it's always hard losing a player in the first half or at any point in the game. I think now for Hartpury, they're down a couple of points. I think that's got to be put in the back of their mind for now, going into the half-time chat. They need to be really thinking about going forward, coming out with a bang, staying on top, and they're chasing this game, but they still need to stay composed. With the player gone, that just needs to be put behind them and thinking ahead, I think.
We spent a lot of time in Cardiff Met's 22 at the end there, with no try, unfortunately, in sight for them. What's the general advice going to be for them coming out into this second half to really claw it back?
Yeah, I think it's really important that the first 20 minutes are as intense as they can be. It's super important to have a clean ball, clean exit, clean ball presentation to really get on that front foot and push them back into their own half.
And moving to the women's, obviously we've double-headed here. The crowd absolutely crazy as per usual. But that was a fairly big win for the women, wasn't it? You were saying off camera it wasn't something you expected to win that far, but that's twice now you've got a win over Cardiff Met.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the focus going into every game is always it's all about us. We just need to control what we can control. Preparation for today's game has been absolutely immense. The girls have been lighting it up in training. The backs give the forwards that energy. You know, we have a scrum, they give us that confidence to go forward. Nice, like Charlie Mann's putting us in the right places today, kicking the ball out, line out more, our set pieces, and that's one of the things we're great at, our set piece, bringing everyone together. It's really something special, and it's something to be really proud of.
And if we obviously look to the WXV, a fair few coaches out there involved. I've got a little smile on her face there. But they still produced a fairly firm lead there without a strong leadership team. So surely speaks volumes to the actual group themselves and how they put themselves together in a professional environment.
Yeah, I know. Whatever coaches are coming in and out, I know that Hartpury are always on that professional level and keeping it real tight in training. I know they've had a few weeks where they've just been training, no games, so I feel like keeping it together and keeping that tight. And also with the WXV, they've obviously had players in and out, so coming in from BUCS to help Gloucester Hartpury for the cup games that have been happening. So for them to come together with a few players who haven't been in the team and come together as tightly as they did today and put a performance on like they did and come out with such an impressive win was just really impressive from the girls, and you've got to give it to them how tightly they came together today.
Cardiff Met also kind of challenging them on a fair few points in the game. I mean, in terms of slotting back in, and this is for all teams, men and women, across all of the kind of BUCS fixtures here, how do you manage slotting back in from that higher level to back down, up, back down? How does that work?
Just to point on the first thing you said, like it's credit to Cardiff Met for putting the team that they did out today and putting the performance, and we always know it's going to be a hard game when we play Cardiff Met, but in terms of girls coming in and out, I think it's just the team that you have around you've got to have a good team environment to be able to bring people back in and back out, and just to know the girls and what the girl that you're playing next to is the most important relationship you could probably have on the pitch, and to keep that team tight, whether you're gone one week and back the next, is really important. So it sounds silly, but the socials that you have off the pitch also really helps when you're on the pitch, and having that kind of system between everyone on the pitch is just really, really, really helpful for them when they have to play these big games, such as Kingsholm on a Wednesday night under the lights. It's amazing.
And do you think there's a certain amount of pressure that you get from playing in these double headers, in front of a fairly big crowd?
Yeah, there's always a bit of pressure. I mean, Cardiff Met are a great team, credit to them, and the girls have improved massively. But yeah, there's always a bit of pressure, coming into it, and with the fans as well. You obviously want to try and do them proud.
And we're going to have to wrap it up there. Cut short, best of luck. We will head back up to commentary to get this second half underway. Thank you and see you then.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you like that, Stella, but the teams are out. They're raring to go with the second half of this scintillating BUCS Super Rugby encounter. It's going to be one for the ages. I can assure you that this game continues to deliver. And I'm pleased to say I will continue to deliver the thoughts and wisdom of Elizabeth Shermer, who's once again joined us for a second half. We've not scared you off still because you're encapsulated by this, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I want to see the ending. I want to see the big hits. It's exciting.
A good take from Toby Baldwin there off kick-off, and Rory Morgan, his teammate, sends it downfield. But again, Corbin Smith, ever reliable at fullback, has that dealt with. Matthews, bit of space over the top of the Cardiff Met defensive wall, and we've already got Ross McKay on the pitch.
Lost now, 20, lost!
An absolute mess there at ruck time from a Cardiff Met perspective, and it's ended in a Hartpury penalty. Fantastic work from the men in red to win that penalty, and a great way to start the second half.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how they would have wanted to start this half. Win that penalty, getting into the Cardiff Met 22, starting where they left off.
I've got some half-time stats here for you as well, Elizabeth. The possession is so even, 54% for Met, 46% for Hartpury. And territory-wise, again, slightly still even, but slightly favoured to Cardiff Met, but we'll get to that in a second, because for now it's Hartpury with the territory, and Hartpury with the ball from the line-out maul, and Matthews almost slithered his way through the Cardiff Met defence. Cobbett thought he could make a dent in it, but he can't. Instead, Brandon Jewell, he's gotten onto the ball, and the captain, Will Goffey, knocks the ball on as he's approaching contact, and that will bring the latest Hartpury attack to an end.
Yeah, no, loads of positives to take from that attack, but yeah, just that final detail. Hopefully they can just think, right, that's positive, let's go again.
Go right, two. There's Mark then, gents.
Very evenly matched side when we look at those statistics. The possession and the territory, there's not much separating these sides out on the pitch, and really, I know the score might not reflect it to everyone watching at home, but from your perspective as well, Elizabeth, they're very, very close.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it comes in swings, the different momentum. Cardiff Met had it at the beginning of the most of the first half, but it's definitely very much with Hartpury at the moment.
And that's a brilliant clearance for Cardiff Met, gets them out of their own 22. And whilst Hartpury set this line out up, I've got some score updates from across BUCS Super Rugby. So Durham beat Loughborough 29-40, the score at full time there. African Violet falling to Palatinate. Cardiff lost to Exeter at home 29-38 in the South Wales capital. And Swansea lost to Bath at home at St Helens, the fortress that they've been trying to establish for so long in BUCS Super Rugby. And they fell to a scoreline of 38-17 in favour of the brothers, who are on a rampage in BUCS Super Rugby at the moment. And speaking of rampages, Hartpury are rampaging into the Cardiff Met 22. But as I say that, Josiah Edwards-Giroux is thrown back by the Met defence, and Matthews has to tidy that up.
Release 11! Let him go, thank you. Roll 4!
Good hands from Cook to Matthews, and again to Cobbett, brought down
Lost now, Blue.
by Ewan Guy, who went to look for that turnover, but it wasn't on. Brilliant delayed pass by Matthews, finds Matt Ward. And there goes Daniel Cook once again, but there he goes into the floor once more. Lovely show and go from JJ Williams, back inside to LaRue.
No, Fee, let it come. Ball's there.
Cardiff Met thought they had him isolated, but Hartpury keep possession. Big carries going in now by the men in cherry red.
Take a step, Blue. No, 7, don't go in there.
Huge collisions, you can hear it on the referee's microphone. Brandon Harvey again lining up another victim. And Hartpury looking to overload this near side now. They've moved their back line around, they're going to move it again.
No hands! Go back, Blue!
And here it goes, Matthews. One-on-one, can't get past the defenders. He's got the support of his team, Cameron Cobbett.
Penalty advantage.
Penalty advantage now for Hartpury. LaRue taking off the ball there.
Let it come.
There's players down here for Hartpury as well. Cardiff Met really throwing everything at this defensive effort. They don't want to concede any points so early in the second half, but will they? It's a try! It's number 6, it's Cameron Cobbett, who's come up with the score. The Scotland under-19 has found the whitewash for Hartpury.
Time is off.
And he's set the precedent now for the rest of the second half.
For me, Jeff, on that one, he's completely fallen. Just an arm is caught on the shoulder and come up. So a penalty only left.
The referee once again doing really well to explain why he didn't see anything else in that challenge besides a penalty, but of course they won't go back for that because Hartpury did indeed score. The player is falling, he's just accidentally been caught by a trailing arm. There's nothing in it, another rugby incident, Elizabeth, but it's great that this is being communicated quite freely and openly.
100%, that's what you want as a player. You want your referee to communicate clearly with you. There are going to be some incidents, and sometimes you may not agree with the referee, but as long as they're explaining it and they're consistent, that's all you can ask for. It's just unfortunate to obviously see a player down and a player hurt, but he took a knock initially in the first half, so I think it may have just accumulated.
Yeah, so there goes JJ Williams. He's not happy about the fact he's going to have to come off, but he is making his way off the pitch. And now Yeston Galton, number 21, has come onto the Kingsholm pitch. Another one with some ties to the land from across the Severn Bridge. I'll tell you about that in just a second. We'll let Matthews take his kick, and he sends it through both sticks. And he adds 2 more points to the scoreboard in favour of the home side, Hartpury. Here's a replay of the build-up to that try, and indeed the try itself. Elizabeth, this is just great work from the forwards.
It really is. They're just owning it, they're taking responsibility, and they're really, what you can see there is people latching on each other and trying to get quick ball. They're not trying to slow it down, which is really good to see. Again, just great reactions.
Take them back.
Quick ball presentation, and Cobbett was there to pounce on it as well. And I mentioned our new addition, Galton, has got some Welsh ties, and that's because he's a former Blues Academy player. So he might know the likes of Jake Thomas all too well from his days in South Wales. For now, he's the one feeding the ball, and he's fed it to the try scorer, Cobbett.
Out of the way, 4.
I think he would have wanted a bit more distance on his last kick, so let's see if he can get it this time.
It sounded like it took a touch off the fingertips of Brandon Harvey, but it's out with Trott in the backfield. And here goes McKay. That's charged down, though, by the Hartpury co-captain, Wilf McCarthy.
Forward there, James, all off the boot.
A lapse in concentration in the Cardiff Met backline has given Hartpury an opportunity to attack. And they've got a penalty advantage as well. A high challenge coming in at the tackle. They might not need it. Corbin Smith, Cameron Cobbett. He's done so well to stay in play here. Lovely little show and go from Matt Ward.
Still got the penalty advantage from too high. You just hold that marker.
LaRue spins out of the challenge. Galton goes on his own.
Tackle release now, Blue.
Yeston Galton swallowed up by the Cardiff Met defence. Another huge carry from Will Goffey.
Hold there, Blue.
Ellis Hart, one pass along to the try scorer, Cameron Cobbett. Galton's gone fishing, he wants that ball quickly, it's not come, but it might still work. Smith spins. Goffey once more.
Hold there, guys.
Cobbett hunted down by Bertie
Still got the penalty
Taylor.
advantage from the high tackle.
Here comes Cook, big carry from the second rower.
And let it go, 6, your feet. New penalty advantage. Off feet.
A new penalty advantage here for Hartpury. They might not need it!
Come back.
They will, thanks to the amazing defence of Ross McKay and Roman Shang on that far side of the pitch to deny Josiah Edwards-Giroux of a try-scoring opportunity. Wow.
Wow is the word. You can see here, they're just overloading that right-hand side. Ball out the back to 10. Beautiful pass across. So close, so close. Such good defence. That's just from pure grit, that defence.
Roma Shang showing his class.
Time is on.
Denying Hartpury a scoring opportunity in the far corner, and Hartpury, interestingly enough, electing to take a kick as well to go for the 3 points.
Shouldn't be on. Where you go?
The referee just telling the water that they shouldn't be on the pitch. Get off my pitch. It's only a penalty.
The rain started to pour now as well, so we'll see if this starts to have an effect on the game.
Well, we've got a tied game at Kingsholm in BUCS Super Rugby. It's 13-all between Hartpury University and Cardiff Metropolitan University.
He's coming towards you now, Alex, at the backfield. Have we got the player on, mate?
There's a change here for Cardiff Met as well. Josh Hart, the Cardiff Met try scorer, coming off. And Ardal Yallop is coming on to replace him, the Welsh exile, in his 3rd year at Cardiff Met. Plenty of BUCS Super Rugby experience under his belt.
Time is on.
And we're also seeing Daniel Cook leave the pitch as well, and Tom Hill, the Gloucester County under-20, has come on in his place. Another tall frame that will be hard to miss, Elizabeth.
Yeah, for sure, they're definitely starting to bring their reinforcements just to keep that energy high now. Momentum is with Hartpury, they want to sustain that.
There'll certainly be a shift in tactics, as you rightly say, because the wind, you can't see it too well on the stream because it's very, very fine, but it's a sheet that's coming across the Kingsholm Park.
Yeah, and you can even tell that it's starting to swirl a little bit from just how the rain's moving.
Inside the 5.
Great maul defence from Hartpury University have stopped Cardiff Met from getting that one out into the back line any sooner. Ben Murphy with a nice carry. And now Joe Cowell faces off against LaRue. And Rory Morgan again thinks he sees a little bit of space to exploit here. But Matthews puts his own boot to ball.
Hold them up, please, guys. Hold them up.
And that's going very far down the pitch. It's curling nicely towards the touchline. Got to be careful of that 50-22.
Touched by red. Touched by red.
Touched by Hartpury in height as well, which means everyone's onside. Great awareness from Ewan Guy and Ben Murphy, because they've thrown Cam Cobbett out into touch. Wow again.
Just great knowledge from Cardiff Met there to know as soon as it's touched, actually, I don't have to need someone to put me onside. I can make this tackle straight away, because otherwise that could have actually been a massive net gain for Hartpury.
In we come then, Blue. Let's go, guys, please. The season.
Lovely throw to the back there, claimed by Barnaby Waddle. Hard to miss that scrum hat, and it's hard to miss that tall target. And so Cardiff Met have got a driving maul to start an attack from, but Hartpury again doing so well to stop it, and now Evan Wood breaks away, trying to get out the grips of Ollie Holiday, and the hooker sets it back nice and quickly. Joke out, lovely offload to Ross McKay. They're inside the Hartpury 22 now. Penalty advantage for Cardiff Met as well. Rory Morgan's fancy footwork sees the Archers march even closer. But they lost the ball at the ruck, and instead it's going to go back for that penalty advantage. Do you take the lead with this game now with the kick, or do you send it into the corner?
Well, they've done the opposite of what I've said the whole time, so I'll leave it to them to decide.
We'll just let them decide from now on.
Let them decide.
But who's lighting up this pitch now, in your opinion, Elizabeth? Because both sides, everywhere you look, across the back line and the forwards, everyone's putting their hand up, aren't they?
They really are. Joe Cow, his offloads and his ability to take the space into a carry, draw the defenders in and then give that little pop is just absolutely sublime.
He'll get a call to be the fly half in next week's game if he continues at this rate. And for now as well, Ross McKay lining up this kick to give Cardiff Met the lead back. And he's nailed that despite the ever-changing conditions, the swirling winds, as you've already mentioned, Elizabeth. And Cardiff Met have a 3-point lead. It's Hartpury University 13, Cardiff Metropolitan University 16, and Jake Thomas is on the pitch, as well as Connell Couch in the front row. Jake Thomas replacing Toby Baldwin, and Ben Murphy has left to give Connell Couch his appearance, and it's straight away with Jake Thomas.
That was a phenomenal chase, absolutely phenomenal.
That's how you introduce a substitute into a BUCS Super Rugby match, isn't it? Jake Thomas straight away thought he was getting a lovely reception straight into his bread basket, but instead he had what felt like the entirety of Hartpury University on him.
And I'm sure he did feel like that at the time. So now it's a great position for Hartpury to have a scrum, a real attacking position.
This is dangerous. Cardiff Met just scored 3, but Hartpury could suddenly come right back at them with 5, maybe 7 of their own. Let's see what happens from this scrum.
Steady.
Scrum just wheeling round there, nothing coming from it from the referee's perspective.
Gents, never. Oh. Yeah, gents. You need to stay square this side, all right?
Does it get frustrating as a member of the forward back when scrums are continuously reset, or do you just love scrums that much that you relish in the opportunity to go for it again?
I really enjoy scrums. I don't enjoy them as much as line-outs. I think it gets to a point where actually it's quite a lot of work and you just want to get the game going. We also don't like standing around for too long.
Set!
Well, it's a fiercely contested scrum. It's one that Cardiff Met had the shove on, but it's now with Ollie Holiday.
One's not straight this side, and we've got some hands in the scrum that side. We'll reset.
We're going for another scrum reset. The ball came out, but one person wasn't driving straight. There were hands in from both sides, so the referee's resetting it again.
The ball comes out.
Frustrating for forwards as well that it's constantly being reset, but also must be frustrating for backs. It's a cold night here in Gloucester. They don't want to be stood around as well.
You've got to start straight.
That's when I always see all the backs in all their sleeves and everything, and I go, oh, I'd be too warm in that.
Left of the mark, please, Blue. He's set.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes on Ollie Holiday on this near side touchline as well, because he was the one that ended up with the ball from the scrum that's just been reset.
Set.
And here we go again. Both sides really pushing with all of their might. It spins around, but we're not going for the reset on this occasion. It's knocked on by Wilf McCarthy. Cardiff Met have it courtesy of you and Guy. Connell Couch rides to challenge well.
Half a step back, please, Red. Red, half step, thank you. Use!
Rory Morgan sends that into the night sky. And Met are finally out of their own 22, and Connor Chapman is making his way onto the pitch, the former Dragon, replacing Evan Wood, who's been fantastic in this game, the boy from Merthyr.
Yes, he has, really impressive, especially he's had some breaks. Honestly, I'd love to see the number of meters he's made in this game so far.
Great contest at the lineup between LaRue and Ewan Guy.
Forward you come! Tackle! Entry.
Penalty conceded by Hartpury there at the subsequent contest at the Rucks. It was Tom Hill, the one conceding that penalty, coming in at the side, who's also clearing quite high around the neck of Rory Morgan there, so it would have been a penalty either way, and he's clearly not happy with that decision, but Hartpury have just gifted the chance for Cardiff Met to gain even more territory.
Edge of the white here.
Yeah, I don't think that kick is as far as he'd like to have it, but you're precisely right. It just relieves that pressure just that little bit.
Time's off. 1 and 3.
Front row replacements for Hartpury as well. Tyler Harvey and Brandon Jewell are coming off, and it looks like Rory Morgan is also coming off as well. Zach Roberts on, former Pontypool player. And that's over the top from Connor Chapman. So Hartpury once more on the ball. Where's this going to go? Matthews sends it wide. He wants his side to use the width of this Kingsholm pitch. And there's a confusion in the back line. And it's ended up in a Hartpury score. Look at what it means to them.
That is huge. You can see by how they've reacted, how important that score was. It was so neck and neck, and they've just broken this period of time. And that is why a kick is only as good as its chase.
It all stems from the overthrow by Cardiff Met. And Hartpury simply using the expanse of the Kingsholm pitch, sending it out wide. And that's when things just went their way. Really, really unlucky there from Ross McKay in defence. And it means that Matt Ward is the one to touch down for the Hartpury score, and potentially 2 more points could be added. Wonderful kick there from Tommy Matthews, gives his side the extra 2 points. It's Hartpury University 20, Cardiff Metropolitan University 16 in BUCS Super Rugby round 6. The lead has changed once more.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be the final time yet. We've still got, what, 20 minutes of this game left, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Confusion for Hartpury, this time from the kickoff. Connor Chapman now on the ball, leaps over, bodies on the ground. And we're switching it up back to the blind side for Brandon Harvey.
Take a step, Red. Good.
Yallop. McKay onto Ewan Guy.
Just hold that mark from the knock-on, please.
McKay again, back inside it goes to Jake Thomas, wrestling his way through the challenges. McKay standing in at flyer half. Oh, big challenge going in on Barnaby Waddle.
Gents,
That pass has evaded everyone from Ross McKay.
Always under pressure.
I'm going to go all the way back to the Hartpury 22 for a knock-on by the men in red. And it's a scrum down for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, just not what you want to do off a kick-off. You've just scored, and you're just giving that territory back to the opposition to get back in the game.
Well, we're into the final 20 minutes of this game as well. Big moments for either side.
Your first movement has to be forward, not across. Crouch! Bind! set.
Both packs giving all of their might to that drive, and it's paid off for Met. They have the penalty advantage. Here goes Zach Roberts down the blind side. Not much doing with that kick, but at least he gave it a go, and we will come back for the penalty.
They've gone forwards through both.
They've got to go for the corner here, haven't they?
Scrum. Really?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they'll either go for the corner or they'll call for a scrum. They've just got success from one scrum. Maybe try and put more pressure on in that way. Corner it is.
And here we go. McKay sends it into the stands.
Edge of the white for me. Edge of the white, guys.
And Connor Chapman will be looking to make amends for his last throw, which ultimately did result in Hartpury's try. He's getting his orders from a fellow Wales under-20 international, Joe Cow. And it's stolen at the line by Hartpury. Great work from Tom Hill. He rose higher and above everyone else. And since coming on, he's made a real impact for the Hartpury side. And he's coming in clutch for them once again.
Use!
That's a lot of air and a lot of height on that ball. Not a lot of distance.
Time's off. 5.
Cardiff Met get another go at another line out. And we're going to say goodbye as well to Barnaby Waddle as he makes his way
19.
off the pitch.
Get on your mark,
and on comes Gethin Cannon.
Okay, time is off at the moment, guys. Time is off.
His line out is particularly strong, I'm told, and with a 6'4" frame, that's probably quite easy too.
Time is on.
Yeah, you can't really miss that marker, can you?
Nice easy take for you and Guy at the front, and Chapman goes digging
inside the 5
to make sure Met can keep that ball, and here they go with the rumble of them all. Stopped in its tracks by Hartpury, so he peels and goes on his own, yanked back on his jersey, but it's quick ball for Cardiff Met. Cannon gets the offload from Joe Cow. Roberts finds Couch. Knock on the floor from Cardiff Met means that Hartpury are back in possession. Brilliant red zone defence once more from Hartpury.
Far side, take a step, Blue. Thank you.
Ellis Hart carrying around the fringes. Tommy Matthews is set nice and deep here, right on the dead ball line.
Advantage over.
Looked like it was almost charged down, and I'm sure he certainly felt under pressure by Connor Chapman.
Nice, 15 change, 15
how much pressure he had on
change.
that kick, he did well to get it to the 22.
And we're still inside the Hartpury 22 as well, technically speaking.
Two red.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Hartpury making more changes to their side. We're losing Will Goffey, but we are gaining Casey Williams. Heavily involved in the Gloucester Youth setup, Gloucester Under-18 and in the ACE programme before he came to Hartpury University. But it's all about Cardiff Met right now, and they're rolling Maul again, hurtling forwards, breaking away. Brandon Harvey not held in the tackle, makes even more meters. Chapman, Connell Couch. He spun out the challenge, he's made some good meters.
Take a step.
Is this the time for Cardiff Met to strike?
Yes!
It's a try! Gethin Cannon emerges with the ball for Cardiff Met. And the Archers have got a score. There were screams from both teams. Hartpury looking for the turnover. Met thinking they'd scored a try. And the referee agrees. A try has been scored.
And who did the carry just before the try was scored again? None other than Joe Cow.
Another one surely nominated for player of the match.
Definitely, honestly, his work rate. A prop still to be playing at his capacity, 66 minutes into a game, is something to be said for.
Well, McKay sends that one.
Sorry, Alex, just say that again, mate.
Up to hit the roof of the stand.
I've got 26 on mine, stayed in.
And he adds the extra 2 as well. Let's take a look at that replay. Here is the carry from Joe Cow. Gets it back straight away for his forwards to use, and it is Gethin Cannon who makes the final strike over the line for Cardiff Met. Brilliant work from that forward pack once more.
Yeah, that's what you want from your subs. You want them adding to the game.
Jake Thomas takes that one a little bit better than his last kickoff, and he's managed to break out of the tackle. Can he break through the line? He's brought down by Cam Cobbett.
I'll be out your way, don't worry.
And Cardiff Met will look to reload once more. Roberts went treasure hunting almost for that ball. He was buried deep within the ruck. But he eventually gets the box kick in. Great take from Wilf McCarthy and another fantastic chase from Jake Thomas. And now it's time for Hartpury to carry with the ball. Keelan Curran.
12, got a roll.
His carry ultimately wins Hartpury a penalty. There's 3 points in it. This is within the kicking range of Hartpury. Do you take the 3?
I think I would. You've still got time to go down and score again, and then it's only another penalty, and you've got the lead.
And indeed, they've called a shot. They've actually listened to you for once, Elizabeth.
He's on the mark, so
when it comes to decision at penalty.
No, it's off at the moment, because he's on the mark. He's on the mark at the moment, so that's where we're going to be going. Once he's up, we're going there.
And it's Gus Patterson who's just taking a little bit of extra time to get down. He's getting some deep freeze on that calf. Cramp obviously starting to kick in, and cramp is more of a concern, isn't it, when playing on an artificial pitch versus the natural grass?
Yeah, artificial pitches just tend to be that bit firmer, which is why you seem to see more like injuries of like dislocation or twisting, and because of the impact hitting the ground. And yeah, cramp is definitely one of those because it's so much firmer.
Sails through the uprights. It's 23-all. It's a tied game again at Kingsholm. This is going to the wire as we creep closer towards the final 10 minutes. What a game of rugby.
I still don't know. I still couldn't call it. I still wouldn't know where it was going.
Lovely hang time on that kickoff, but again, great reactions from Tom Hill, the tall number 19, to take that ball.
Hold!
And George Perry is on the pitch, and he sends it down the throat of McKay, who goes for a little dink over the top of the Hartpury defence himself. Might work out here.
No,
for the men in red. It's over the top of Roman Zheng's head. It bounces into touch deep inside Cardiff Met's 22. And Elizabeth, although they won't have the put in at the line out, it's certainly not where Cardiff Met want to be.
Do you know what? We haven't spoken about it that much, but Tommy Matthew is really taking it to them. He is really pulling the strings, and that was a gorgeous kick to keep the pressure on Met.
Blue, in please.
Here we go, Met running a shortened line out. 4 men in there for the Archers. Lots of changing of personnel, lots of movement. It's over the top of everyone. It almost worked out here for Hartpury University's Scott Davis. And can you believe it? He's knocked it on. So Cardiff Met have a scrum.
You couldn't write it, you honestly couldn't write it. Edge of the seat stuff.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
That's a very unstable scrum to try and set yourself on.
Please. I don't want you slingshotting, you're in, all right? Hey, make sure you're in, not slingshotting.
Referee not happy with the slingshotting of the number 8s. Can you explain for everyone watching at home what he means by that, Elizabeth?
So it means that the number 8's not being bound for that set. So what they're doing is they're launching themselves into the scrum to try and gain that shot. And obviously they're trying to remove that element of 2 scrums hitting together. That's why it's set. Crouch, bind, set.
Bind!
You look at the old videos of the mid-2000s and it's scary looking back at the gap that we used to have in the scrums.
It used to be two piling into each other.
Leave it. Leave it. 19. 19. 19. When my whistle blows, you stop. You don't start jumping over. You can hear it. Don't stop running. There's Mark.
Tom Hill being told off like a naughty schoolboy there by the referee, and the ref makes a good point. It's all well and good getting enthusiastic about the fixture, but you don't want to take it too far and then start giving away penalties for attitude.
No, exactly, and my favourite is the excuse there, I couldn't hear the whistle.
But the referee's responsive instantly, but you definitely can.
Yes, exactly.
He knows what these players can hear. Penalty for Hartpury University. Huge moment at Kingsholm. This could be game deciding.
Shot called. Shot's been called, gents. Shot's been called.
And there's confusion here as well, because the first call made was a shot.
Your tee has come on. Will, your tee came on. Shot was called. You're taking a shot.
A shot was called first by someone, so the referee's taken that answer despite their protest, because they want to go for the corner, because they know they can really put the pressure on Cardiff Met in the closing stages with a bigger gap between them and the Archers. And that's an easy mistake to make, isn't it?
It is. You sometimes get caught up a bit in the moment and just make a decision there and then, because this is a trickier kick.
Well, let's see what Tommy Matthews can do with this kick. It's a tricky kick, but he's made it work, and he's given Hartpury University the lead from it being a tied game. It's 26-23 in favour of the home team here at Kingsholm. What a game! We knew it wouldn't deliver because of how high scoring these teams have been so far this season. But Hill knocks on from the kickoff. Cardiff Met instantly with an advantage to work with. Yallop doing well with the carry there. Couch out the back to McKay. Patterson on to Evans, upended by Josiah Edwards-Giroux, but a penalty advantage. They're penalising the way that the player was landing on this pitch. Great carry from Brandon Harvey. He's not held.
Just say that again, please, James.
Here we go, Patterson, McKay, quick hands, finds Evans. Snuffled up though by Hartpury's defence. There's chance here of a yellow card, and it's happened.
13.
Josiah Edwards-Giroux will leave the pitch. He will not return for the remainder of this game.
Off the ball as well.
10 minutes in the bin.
You've got the mark for that one, mate. Okay, 13's taking over the horizontal, landing on side, yeah, tip tackle. I've got 19 taking a man without the ball as well. I've already 19, that's 3 penalties since it came on.
Wow, so it's a yellow card for Hartpury to go down to 14, and again Tom Hill is the one singled out by the referee for ill discipline. As a captain, you've got to get on top of that quickly, because penalties at this stage can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
100%, and as the ref said, he's very much, you've had 3 penalties now since you've come on. That's too many, really need to cut them out. I think with the tackle, I don't think it was intentional. It was just a big hit, and unfortunately he just went over the horizontal, and player safety is obviously paramount.
Yeah, okay.
Here comes Ross McKay, a former Gaelic footballer, so he knows how to work the ball from his boot. Great kick, it's got more distance and it's got brilliant accuracy.
He's coming towards you.
And we're in the final 5 minutes of the game with another tied scoreline.
I got it's about 30 seconds slow.
And I know you might not be able to answer it right now, Elizabeth. but who do you think is your player of the match? Give me 2 nominations from either team. I'll make your life easy.
Oh, I think a couple of people have played really well. I think for me, Joe Cowell definitely has to be up there. He's been absolutely phenomenal for Cardiff Met.
Take him back.
I think in terms of Hartpury, I think Cameron Cobbett has had a really good game. He's obviously got that try for them. But I also think Tommy Matthews has been very good. Oh, it's a really hard one.
Brilliantly timed challenge there by Liam Newstead onto the pitch with fresh legs. Because Joe Cowell's been dismissed, he's been given some rest now, he's given everything in this game for the Archers. And LaRue is another who's given everything in this game, and he's still carrying, still going.
Leave him alone, 18. I told you on the floor, and you carried on and you stood up.
And it's that ill discipline we spoke about that Hartpury need to keep on top of, and they've conceded a penalty for messing with Brandon Harvey. It's that number 18, Keelan Cullen.
He's started out on the floor and not let him go. What's happened after that?
6 is retaliated.
Yeah. Okay, so 6 retaliated, but 18 started it for me. Happy? Nothing else. Cool. Penalty stands. Your 18 started that on the floor. 6 is then 18's just got to leave him alone on the floor, and he's just not letting him go.
So silly penalties to give away there. Hartpury, I guess, are kind of lucky that that wasn't escalated into anything else in the eyes of the referees, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I think if there's any more, it might be. There's been a few too many now for just the extras that are just unnecessary off the ball. And it's giving Cardiff Met that extra territory and putting real pressure on them.
12! Time is off. 12 off.
Substitution being made here for Cardiff Met. Gus Patterson is off. Toby Baldwin is back on. And Ewan Guy takes the ball at the front of the line out. Connor Chapman gets himself in the driving seat, gets them all started. The peel is happening around the outside, but Cobbett is swimming around the outside. Hill as well. They've got to be careful not to concede a penalty here, Hartpury. That would be a worst case scenario outcome.
Not in it anymore, out you go. Yeah, ball's there, that's the good.
Good contest from Hartpury at the driving maul. Yallop onto Couch. Great offload on the floor from the tight head prop, finds Gethin Cannon. Ewan Guy standing in at scrum half. He gets it into his back line. Here comes Elijah Evans. It's a knock-on. Knock-on in contact by Evans. Big moment here. Do Hartpury just keep this in hand and see the game out? No, they're sending it down the field. It's gone out. It's given them a lot of breathing room, and it's surely given you time to think as we enter the final 2 minutes about your player of the match.
Oh goodness, this is still such a hard one. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think for me, though, someone I've been really impressed with, we've kind of spoken about him. Obviously, there are a lot of players that have had phenomenal games, but I think for me, it has to be Joe Cowell. He really has stepped up, and you would never expect a prop to have the skill set he does.
No,
You've not really seen him play before, but he's impressed you that much in one match.
That much.
Just doing his boot over there. Okay. Have we got numbers, guys? Cool. Okay, let's go then, please.
So there you go, everyone. Confirmation once more. Joe Cowell is your player of the match. The Cardiff Metropolitan tight head has been awarded the accolade by Gloucester Hartpury's Elizabeth Shermer. And his team have just experienced a very messy line-out. The ball, luckily for them, going backwards. Hartpury will protest, though, and Liam Newstead will carry up for the Archers. Zach Roberts rallying his troops now, ready for the box kick.
Let's use it, 21's out.
And it's knocked on in the air. Cardiff Met have claimed the ball once more. Ewan Guy. Quick ball here for Cardiff Met is essential, and they get it. Yallop. It's a high tackle initially attempted by Hartpury.
Turnover would have been good.
And they've won the penalty. We are in the final minute. They could potentially take the full time and take this game to its end.
Yeah,
Probably same as yours down there.
It's kind of the story of this last bit, the second half. Unfortunately, it's just ill discipline from Hartpury. It's really cost them.
Time for a
and
restart.
Cardiff Met just have to take their time here. They might have time for the reset, but this is a huge kick.
This could be the game-winning moment, although the referee reminding everyone, making it very clear, very obvious as well, there is time for a kick-off on his watch. So as ours ticks down to the 80-minute mark and Ross McKay lines up this kick, this for the win. The flag stays down! The flags stay down!
Oh my goodness!
The wind and the conditions getting the better of the boots and the ball from Ross McKay.
It's about 30 seconds slow. I've got 30 seconds to go. Make sure you're behind the blue.
30 seconds left on the referee's watch. That's a huge kick from Hartpury all the way back into the Met 22. They don't want to give up possession. They want to get ahead on the scoreboard.
No hands to ground first. Leave it alone, 19.
More big carries from Cardiff Met. McKay thinks he sees a bit of space. Roman Zheng is indeed in it. He's collected the ball. And he's got Connor Chapman in support as well, which is crucial because he doesn't want to be isolated. Brandon Harvey still going.
No hands.
McKay. Connell Couch, is he on his own?
Not on the ball!
It's still with Cardiff Met. Evans spinning out the tackle. Cardiff Met clearly playing for a potential penalty here. Ross McKay puts it on the floor. The boot deflects off of the number 19 of Hill. And we end in a draw at Kingsholm. It finishes Hartpury University 26, Cardiff Metropolitan 26. They will share the spoils here at Kingsholm. Elizabeth, try and sum that up in one word.
Speechless. Speechless. Oh my goodness, the physicality, the heart, the passion. That is what rugby is meant to be like, and that was a phenomenal game.
From minute 1 to minute 80, all 46 boys out on that pitch gave their all. And it's ended in a tied game, a draw at Kingsholm, which many neutrals watching at home will say is a fair outcome for this game. But every Hartpury and Cardiff Met fan will be screaming it should have been them.
For sure, for sure. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk a little bit more about your player of the match before we go through the game highlights. Joe Cowell, the recipient. The tight head was phenomenal from the get-go. Scrummaging God, running mastermind, silky hands of an illusionist. What more could you have wanted?
Yeah, genuinely, like in that first half, the scrum was such a powerhouse for Cardiff Met. They were really got the ascendancy there. And then just being able to always get his team on the front foot ball. He was always putting his players into space. 2 tries he assisted from his first initial carry. The offloads just was absolutely exceptional and a skill set that I'm unsurprised that he is being capped at under 20 level.
Well, let's see what the future may hold for Joe Cowell. Could be plenty more international appearances and professional appearances at senior level. Interesting to note as well, he was also involved during that horrible COVID period in rugby where Cardiff Rugby suddenly found themselves with most of their squad isolated in South Africa, and he was one of the lucky few that got to step up at an early age and experience professional rugby against Toulouse, no less. So he's faced big giants from the get-go in his rugby career. But let's take a look at some of the best moments from that game, particularly the point-scoring moments. We'll have them in just a second, and like you said, Elizabeth, it's been an amazing game to watch. You're speechless, I'm speechless. All of those fans down there have constantly been bringing the noise though. Fantastic that an event like this, a big doubleheader at Kingsholm, has had the support not only of the universities but the local community here in Gloucester as well. Lots of people talking about how great that is to see them join in the fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just so good for rugby. Rugby recently hasn't always been in the best of places, but the World Cup has created a buzz. This game has created a buzz, and it's just so exciting, and it's just going to get more and more people passionate about rugby and getting bums on seats.
And I'll tell you what, this will be the best news of the whole day. Not only are we going to look at the highlights from the game, but the league is far from over. There are plenty more games to come, and there are plenty more being streamed as well. But let's take a look at the game. You saw him very briefly there as well. Tommy Matthews, he had a fabulous game at fly half for Hartpury. Definitely one worth mentioning in the post-match report.
Yeah, for sure. He was pulling the strings. He kept composed with his kicks. And that's easier said than done sometimes when you've got all this pressure on you in such a highly emotional game.
So this is the first try from Cardiff Met. Player of the match, Joe Cowell, going in for the pick. Puts it on a silver platter nice and quickly, and straight away Josh Hart notices and gets over for a score of his own. So this now the second half, and this one of Hartpury's tries. And Elizabeth, just talk to me about how impressive the power of the forwards has been in the composure to successfully do that wrap around the ruck.
Yeah, it takes a lot, but also from the supporting players. The referees have been really hot on sealing off the ruck, and so those supporting players have to be making an effort to stay on their feet, and that's why it's so impressive, because it is so easy to give a penalty away in that particular situation.
And this one of the many crucial kicks Ross McKay ended up doing, and here is the overthrown line out by Cardiff Met, which ultimately led to a fantastic try out wide for Hartpury. And you could instantly see what it meant to Matt Ward to score that try, because he was turning to the crowd, he was getting them riled up, and he was showing them that they're still here. Hartpury was still standing, and there was still a game on our hands.
Yeah, just a phenomenal kick and a phenomenal chase, and you can see it really lifted the game.
There he is again, player of the match, Joe Cowell, with another big carry, which ended up in another big try. Gethin Cannon, the one getting over to make that score. I know his line out was mentioned as being strong, but his ball carrying was also brilliant, wasn't he, the tall second rower?
Yeah, absolutely. He really added to the game when he came on the pitch, and that's what you want from your subs. It's a whole team game. It's not just 15, it's the full 23.
And here we've got a selection of the kicks that were successful for Hartpury to bring them right back into the mix in the game. And then, of course, one from Ross McKay. It just had so much distance on it as well. He could have hit that from another further 10 metres out, really, couldn't he?
Yeah, which is just exciting, because it means that in those games, actually, they can take the points, and that adds so much pressure in rugby games, because you're like, I can't give a penalty on halfway because I know I'll slot it.
And we're not showing the missed kick, obviously, by Ross McKay, but that was the game-deciding moment. Cardiff Met could have stolen the win, but they didn't on this occasion. But as I've said already, the action does not stop in BUCS Super Rugby. We've enjoyed Hartpury versus Cardiff Met. It's ended in a 26-all draw, but courtesy of Cardiff Met Sport TV and the Sports Broadcast MSc students at Cardiff Met, we've got 2 more games being live streamed over the coming weeks for you. Cardiff Met versus Exeter in BUCS Super Rugby, and Cardiff Met versus Exeter again in the Women's National League, 2 weeks apart from each other. So it's not another double header, but it's another double delight and another double dealing of action from either elite league in the university system for you to enjoy. And now that's it from me. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us here today. Before you go, have you enjoyed yourself, and will you be watching more WNL and BSR action in the future?
100%, I've absolutely loved it. Thank you for having me.
No problem, it's been my pleasure, my pleasure. Now we're going to go down to Stella, because she has managed to pinch the player of the match, Joe Cowell, away from his team. It's a good night from me, but a hello to her.
Player of the match, Joe Cowell, like Simon Powell, he just told me off camera. Now, a draw, phenomenal. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
fair play to both teams. I think everyone went to war today, but in terms of getting a draw, I think there should be some sort of overtime, like kick-off or something. But yeah, I mean, pretty disappointed not to get the win. Thought the boys were really good today after a back of 2 losses, so can't fault the boys, but yeah, never like drawing.
Now talk to me about that second half, because the first half was largely tryless and the second half just seemed like it didn't stop. It was constant. What on earth was said at half-time?
Well, I think the coaches were pretty happy with how physical we were first half. I thought a few of the boys, every one of the boys bought it today, so in terms of half-time, was just trying to finish the game off and see the game out. I mean, unfortunately we didn't do that, but yeah, I can't fault the boys' effort today.
And in terms of looking forward now, is it a case of rest, recuperate, recover and move on?
Yeah, I think coming to the end of this week now, I think hopefully we'll have a couple of days off to kind of refresh and get away from the training. But the hard work never stops for us. I think it's a long season, so we'll be back in tomorrow trying to recover and get ready for 2 weeks today.
And in terms of these early matches, how important is it to kind of use them as a feeler as to where the squad is at?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive. I think we're quite lucky in pre-season. We get a couple of games under our belt, but nothing's like BUCS Super Rugby, like the pace, how strong some of these boys are. So in terms of getting a few games under the belt, I mean, it's brilliant for us, but it's a long season, so just trying to get to Christmas, see where we're at, and then we'll go from there.
Great, well thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll keep with the brolly and then you hand the mic over.
Thank you very much, cheers.
Got some coaches behind me coming on in.
Hi there.
Would you like to hold my brolly for me?
I'll need to go on tiptoes.
Oh, it's good, I don't need... So we've got the Danny Milton here with me pitch side. A draw. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I think my wife would ask why we bothered. That's what she normally says when there's a draw. So I think both teams will be really proud of the physicality and the way they conduct themselves through the game. And it was an exciting game to the end. I suppose everybody's a little bit frustrated we haven't come away with a win. I'm sure both sides feel like they had opportunities to win that tonight.
And talk to me about where your opportunities were that you feel like were kind of left out on that pitch tonight.
I think first half we probably had the lion's share of the possession, probably territory as well, and probably would like to have been a bit further ahead on the scoreboard. Second half, Hartpury came right back into it, although at times I felt our scrum and driving line out put us in good areas in that second half. So probably those two at the end, and everyone misses a kick now and then, but I'm sure that's another 3 points gone at the end. But we'll take the 26 all at the end.
And looking ahead to the next few rounds, obviously we're still pretty early into the season, aren't we? How kind of crucial are these matches just to get a tester of where you are, to dip the toe in the water and understand what's going on with your squad?
Yeah, very important. BUCS Super Rugby doesn't leave many easy games. We've gone to Nottingham last week, probably didn't bring the performance we wanted, and Nottingham turned us over and they're bottom of the league. So every week is a tough game and an exciting one with Exeter next for us. So like you say, every game's a big game in BUCS Super Rugby.
And what's the prep going to be like for looking forward to Exeter? Is it going to be a case of rest for a few days and then straight back into it?
Yeah, well, we've had a busy period with our National League programme on a Saturday as well. We've got a game now Friday, and then we'll probably give the boys a few days off the start of next week and then come back in sort of middle to late next week and go again.
Cool, great. Well, thank you very much, and I guess kind of congratulations.
No problem, thanks very much.
I'll keep the brolly, and if you hand the mic over.
Dan, hold on, buddy.
Hello.
Hello.
I think you need to hold it.
Well, I got done last time. I held this and I get in trouble. Right.
Got in trouble?
Yeah.
Did you really? Why?
Yeah, I had a handshake with one of your colleagues. And
with Lauren.
Yeah,
I remember.
Very embarrassing moment.
So, look, a draw. What are your thoughts and feelings on that?
It's a bit tough. We didn't play well in the first half. They outplayed us. We came out in the second half. To raise our game around the kick race, around our energy in the 22 and our conversion rate, and we did that. It's just tough it'll take a couple of looks to work out why that came out at 26 all. But I'm so chuffed for the boys. They didn't give it. Like, one of our values is belief, and at 13-3 at half time, I believe they could win. I believe we could, and we came out and we put ourselves into a place too.
And talking about belief, let's take a moment to talk about the crowd. Double header here tonight. It's a pretty phenomenal evening for everybody involved, even though the score perhaps didn't go your way. Did you feel like the crowd was really pushing both teams?
Yeah, definitely. It's the second year we've done this at Kingsholm, and it's been a great event both nights. It's rained both nights, and it's amazing to see the Hartpury herd in full force for both games as well, supporting the women's game before and sticking around in the weather for us afterwards.
Great stuff. And in terms of looking forward now, we're still in the early stages of the league, of course, but moving on forwards, are these kind of matches really, really quite helpful for you guys to get a tester of where you're at as a squad?
Yeah, definitely. Look, Cardiff Met are always up there, thereabouts. They're always in playoffs, and that's where we want to be. And it's at the moment that scoreline says we're about the same, but everything can change in playoffs. Like, it's a long old season. We're where we want to be in the top half of the table, but we could have been a bit higher with a little win tonight.
Well, I'm sure you'll take that spirit into the next few matches moving forward. I will keep the brolly. You hand the mic to somebody else.
I won't shake anyone's hand.
No, don't shake anyone's hand. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening at Kingsholm Stadium. We started off fairly dry, and now, of course, in classic rugby fashion, the rain is coming thick and fast. A draw then for BUCS Super Rugby. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for joining me live here at Kingsholm, and hopefully see you soon.